9th from BlackRock. This didn't necessarily catch me off guard because we're talking about a traditional financial entity, and you guys know how they work. They work in their own best interest. But at the same time, it's got a lot of people from the XRP Army and Solana camp that are not really happy with BlackRock, okay? So let's go ahead and talk about a little bit of recap this week. We had one of the biggest weeks in crypto. Well, it seems like every single week is big in crypto. We had the Genius Act that was a couple weeks ago, like all these pro-crypto executive orders being signed, Bitcoin Strategic Reserve, yada, 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 Clarity Act. So also, liquid staking is not a security. That's another big one because there's a lot of proof of work coins out there, okay? And this impacts them directly. But earlier this week, we got news that the SEC is going to drop their appeal. Basically, the XRP or Ripple versus SEC lawsuit is completely over. That's done, over, goodbye. SEC's said that, Ripple CLO confirmed it, etc. So that's done. And this is a massive milestone because it not only proves that XRP is not a security on the secondary market, but Ripple can actually participate in things in the United States of America and not worry about, getting hit up by the SEC because SEC is a mess. In addition to that, there was an executive order signed by Trump indicating that Americans are able to diversify more of their 401ks. One of those sectors are real estate, and the big one was crypto, okay? So if you're somebody that has a 401k, I have a 401k, it's now going to be open for crypto investments. Right now, a lot of the traditional financial entities are not set up for that, but my friends over at Dame, they can help you if you guys want to get that situated. But anyways, so we got all this big news, okay? All of this big news. Well, Real versus Swift with Ripple, that, as Ripple is able to actually legally build in the US now, because the lawsuit's over, like it's pretty much free reign, we're going to see a lot of strong competition from blockchain projects, primarily companies like Ripple, that have these different capabilities to compete with old systems. Great, fine, fantastic. But BlackRock came out yesterday. Okay, there was a well-known ETF analyst, Nate, and he says, we're going to get, BlackRock is probably going to file for an XRP Solana ETF, blah, 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 the lawsuit's over, da, da, da. Well, BlackRock came out and they kind of butted heads with Mr. Nate a little bit. And I'm not shocked because I still think they're going to apply for the, an XRP or Solana ETF and just a lot of the different crypto ETFs, but they're being slick about it, okay? So BlackRock spokesperson states, at this time, BlackRock does not have any plans to file an XRP or SOL ETF, and this is from the block. So a spokesperson from BlackRock came and says, hey, we're not going to do this, da, 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 da. And then in addition to that news, Mr. Nate came out and says, BlackRock immediately calls me out, says no plans at this time to launch spot XRP or SOL ETF. In my opinion, this will be looked at as a mistake. We shall see. Now, we know that Larry Fink from BlackRock, we know that Jamie Dimon, we know all of these bigwigs in the traditional financial industry have came out and said negative things about crypto, or no, we're never going to do this, we're not going to do that, all of these different things, okay? That's what they've said. But in reality, as time has passed and as it's going to impact their bottom line, they've essentially retracted their words, and they've put these products out. And BlackRock has a Bitcoin and Ethereum spot ETF, and the inflows for those are absolutely crazy. It's some of the, I think that's like the Bitcoin spot ETF is like the 4th top ETF, like as far as inflows or alpha. Sorry, I don't have the data in front of me right now, but I'm not concerned about this. This does not scare me. This is not really too shocking to me. This is really not that big of a deal because we have traditional financial companies that come out all the time and say, no, we're not going to do this. And then realistically, in the background, they are silently either accumulating or working on X, Y, and Z to push out. I didn't say there's not going to be an XRP ETF. Stay with me here, okay? Let me get all the words out. But this would be a BlackRock XRP spot ETF or BlackRock Solana spot ETF. But there's a lot of other issuers out there or applicants that want XRP or want Solana ETFs or HBAR ETFs, all these different crypto ETFs. So what I think is going to happen personally, I think that we were going to see the SEC eventually approve a lot of these crypto ETFs because, again, they're just gearing up. They want to make sure they've got all their ducks in order. Public servants, red tape, they go hand in hand, okay? So they want to make sure all these things are going to happen. So what I'm predicting is going to happen, we're going to see all of these crypto spot ETFs, whether it's HBAR, XRP, Solana, Avalanche, the Made in the USA coins, you can see who's applied for what, the Litecoin, all of it. I think these are going to get approved. And then once they get approved, I think BlackRock will then step in and they will essentially let the other companies do the legwork. Because you have to also understand, there's a little bit of case law that goes along with this, especially when you're filing for applications and whatnot. You can view all this stuff online. So I think that BlackRock's kind of playing it smart right now. And I think that they're going to follow suit. I think they're just going to wait. And I don't know why they would necessarily want to wait. We'll see, because maybe it's controversial. I don't know. But I like to pay attention to people's actions, okay? Again, Larry Fink has gone on and said terrible things about Bitcoin, but then he came on years later, retracted, and then they ended up launching that spot Bitcoin ETF. That was primarily pushed through Grayscale, because I want to say Grayscale actually went to court and kind of filed for that. But moral of the story is you're going to hear that there's not going to be an XRP spot ETF. There will be an XRP spot ETF, and we've talked on this channel quite a bit that there will be spot ETFs. They're going to get approved by, or the applicant, this is going to be from some of the smaller companies maybe, and I think BlackRock's going to step in. And I'm also predicting, I said Q3 to Q4 of 2025. Q3 is not necessarily panning out, but that's okay. We're talking about government. We're talking about things that take time, but I am very, very confident we are going to get the crypto spot ETFs approved, and it's probably going to be done swiftly at once, because you have to remember this SEC administration, they're actually working with these applicants, okay? They're working with these applicants. They're working really hard. They're actually responding. Anytime we cover this stuff, it's just like, oh, the SEC acknowledged or the SEC made it known, whatnot. But that's good, because it means that there's communication happening. And when the SEC is communicating with these applicants very openly, it's basically saying, hey, we need you to change this, or we want to see this, we want this, we want that. So then the companies have to go back, they have to deal with their legal team, rewrite things, and it takes a lot of time, okay? The moral of the story is I'm like 99.9% positive we're going to get the crypto spot ETFs approved. Is it going to happen in Q4 of 2025? I want it to happen. I hope it is going to happen. I'm rooting for it to happen for all of the different cryptos, not just the XRP one, because I think that a lot of these different projects, they're able to solve different problems. They have their own valid utility, which is why I'm not like a chain maxi of anything. It's just I like to have different stuff. But the coins we focus primarily on the show are coins that I think have a lot of potential that were created overseas, and also potential in the US to become spot ETFs, because I feel like they're going to be a little bit more I feel like if my logic behind it is if there's big money, if there's traditional finance and there's big backing behind it, I don't think that they are going to necessarily let these fail, because then they lose money. They don't want to lose money. They want to take money from us. So it's good to kind of be patient. It's good to play it safe. It's good to kind of to hear what these people say, but listen to yourself. And that's something we say on the channel a lot. Also, too, guys, make sure to smash the like and share this. It helps me. I get monetization. We want the channel to grow because we want to push this information out to more people so they can hear what I say, but listen to themselves. And that means hear the words that are coming out of my mouth, go to a different source, fact check me, and come up with something that makes sense, and then listen to yourself. Because at the end of the day, you're in crypto. You're essentially early. And part of being in crypto is doing your own due diligence and thinking for yourself and taking accountability and self-education. And the best way to do that is by getting your information from multiple different sources and coming up with something that makes sense for you. Okay, so moral of the story is, as of right now, BlackRock has no plans for an XRP or Solana ETF, even though the lawsuit is over. But at the same time, Ripple is now pretty much free and clear to do what they need to do legally in the United States of America to continue to build out the Ripple ecosystem. No, why need for BlackRock? No, we do need BlackRock. BlackRock is a big player. If you take a look at the volume for a lot of these ETFs, just from the Bitcoin and the Ethereum ETF from BlackRock, they're doing insane numbers. They're the top performing ETFs. So we do need BlackRock to an extent, which I hate saying that because we're supposed to operate in a true decentralized economy, but at the end of the day, we got to play their game, okay? So that being said, I think it's going to happen. I just don't think it's going to happen yet, just because they're saying not necessarily yet. But this also kind of segues into Trump's executive order allowing and again, these figures vary. Apparently, there's between $8 and $12.5 trillion that's currently locked up in U.S. retirement accounts. A lot of these are retail folks, people like you and me. We are going to be able to use our 401k money to actively invest in different cryptos. The banks and the brokers and all that stuff, they're not built out for it yet. And the crypto spot ETFs, in my opinion, would be the vehicle to essentially get these assets in your 401k portfolio if you do decide to do that. So everything is lining up, but it's just taking time. And I know a lot of you guys are not necessarily patient, and that's okay. I'm here to remind you, believe in yourself, have conviction in what you're doing, and showcase patience. The best traders and investors are patient. So I think we're going to get that BlackRock XRP spot ETF, get that volume in, baby, get that liquidity in, but it's going to take time. Anyways, you guys, thank you so much for watching. I will chat with you soon. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and of course, set alerts.